Okay, we're going to see how we did making a coffee concentrate. And so the recipe for this came from a YouTube channel called Exploring Intuition, and suggested that we take 1 pound of coffee and combine it with 10 cups of water in some kind of a container like this would do. I decided to use crock pot. Okay, and this has been sitting just at room temperature for 10 hours. You see that it looks like if you baked it, it would become brownies, you know. So it's going to be kind of sludgy looking. It smells great. I didn't have a good way to measure out 1 pound of coffee. Often coffee is sold in 1 pound packages, and so you could, buy a pound and then mix it with 10 cups of water according to the recipe. I had three packages, which together added up to 15 ounces of coffee. So, and 16 ounces is a pound. So not quite a pound. So instead of 10 cups, I used about 9.5. And when you first combine them, then you want to, mix this up so that it's sort of an even consistency. You can see that as it's been sitting, the grounds have sort of come to the top, and the liquid has settled to the bottom somewhat. So you want to give it another good stir after it's been sitting. And again, I used a crock pot just because it was a convenient container, but there was no heat on it. Okay, it just sat at room temperature, and it's been sitting for over 10 hours. And on that channel, the suggestion was let it sit for at least 10 hours. Then you want to stir it up again. So we're stirring it up, and then we're going to want to strain this. You can strain it through ordinary coffee filters, or cheesecloth was suggested as another option. So I got some cheesecloth. Now I'd heard of cheesecloth, but it wasn't like I'd have been able to identify it. I don't know that I'd ever seen it before. So it looks kind of like that right there. It's like a mesh. So you can find this at craft stores, like wherever you would get, paints and fabric and stuff like that for crafts. So they should have it. I had to ask for it. I had a little trouble finding it, but here's a package of cheesecloth. So that's what we will use to strain this mixture, and we'll see what it looks like. All right, in looking at the cheesecloth and unwrapping it, I found that it's only so wide. So I was planning to strain into this container here, but the cheesecloth isn't wide enough to cover it. So I opted for a smaller sort of saucepan, and I've got it I've got it taped here because I pictured once I started pouring on here, the whole thing just caving in. So primitive fix, but I've got it just scotch taped to the two sides. So that seems like it'll be okay. But before I go full bore and just start tump up this whole crock pot here, I'll just take a spoonful or two, put it over the cheesecloth, and see how it seems to be working. So again, I'll stir this up some more here. It's wanting to settle, but let's take a spoonful and put it on there and see what we get here. Now as I continue to do this, I guess I'm just going to have this stuff piling up on here, so I may have to change out a piece of cheesecloth and get a new length of it or something. But so I heard a little dripping there. I don't hear it now. Didn't hear much, but heard a little bit. So I guess maybe a ladle would work a little better to get a little more out at a time here. So you can hear that draining in there. So let me work on this, and once I've got it all strained, we can see what the result looks like. So with the process complete, we're looking at about this much coffee concentrate, and there's still some in this pan here. So according to exploring intuition, you should be able to mix about 1 part coffee concentrate to 3 parts water to get yourself a nice cup. But of course, your mileage may vary and you'll want to adjust to taste and all that sort of thing. So let's say I'm on the trail and I have about this much water left in this bottle, and I'm thinking, some coffee would hit the spot right now. Of course, I would have to mix with cold water because I don't use a cook system. But even cold coffee on the trail, I imagine, would be a treat for me, as much as I normally drink it when I'm off the trail. So I've got a 2 tablespoon measuring cup here, and I'm going to try putting about that much into the water here. Adding the 2 tablespoons to the water here. So the color of that looks decent, maybe a little light, so I might need a little bit more, but I would probably just add until it looked about the right color to me. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, not bad at all. So now I just need to figure out some kind of a container that I can carry that concentrate in, so that it doesn't take up much space, and I wouldn't carry a whole lot of it because I don't want the extra weight, but yeah, that just might work. So nice job, and again, shout out to the YouTube channel Exploring Intuition.